So first and foremost, I think the most important thing to discuss, or not most, there's a lot of important things, but we need to look at our typical Nimue routine. And I know this is something that we see all the time. We've been working with this brand for many, many years, but it is a good one to start because this is where everything begins. So with Nimue, our typical Nimue routine is going to be your cleansers, your conditioners, so your phase one, your day and night moisturizers, your SPFs, and your exfoliator. Then we have a phenomenal phase two products. And we always say you're not fully on Nimue until you are on your phase two. Just how that enhances those results from phase one. We know how it's that ultimate at-home rejuvenating serum treatment. It just kickstarts that skin to see amazing results. And then on top of that, we still have the phenomenal boosters, your additives that do assist the skin further. So we've got the different kinds of things where we can assist the client no matter where they are and what level they are in with their life. So really, really love. And then, of course, the most important thing is to try and get our clients to understand the importance of doing home care as well as treatments. But do we always remember, especially when working with a brand for so many years, and I often have therapists that come back on training, do refreshers because they do forget. And they say, oh my goodness, I forgot that this was in this product, or I forgot about this product. So it is important for us to remember what is actually in our products. What ingredients are we using? And as we've always known, Nimue's core has always been based on alpha-hydroxy acids. So it's been in our cleansers. We know the story. It's your triple alpha-hydroxy acids. We're going to look a little bit just now about the difference between alpha-hydroxys and polyhydroxys, but it's been that. And then over and above that, our additives, some of the formulations that we've updated and improved on is other active ingredients that really, really assist in other ways on the skin. So before we move on, I'm going to play a little video. In this video, we have the wonderful Jackie Swart, who's been with Nimue for many, many years, lots of experience. Her and Tebogo, who is in the lab, and they're going to just discuss a little bit with you about what exactly goes into formulating a product. Where does it all start? Where does it all end? And how does it happen? So it's a nice quick video, even though it doesn't happen this quick, just to show you exactly what is happening within the labs.
Good morning, everybody, from a very beautiful and sunny South Africa. And we're very pleased today to be able to share with you some product development that we do in our Nimue Lab. I'm Jackie Swart. I head up the R&D for Nimue. And with me here today is Tebogo, who runs the laboratory for us, and she's going to do some demonstrations today as well. So where does the product development process start? And that is usually coming from our marketing department, where competitor research is done. We look at international trends, we look at market needs, we look at very exciting new and exclusive raw materials. And based on that, we hold an innovation session, we have brainstorming with the relevant people. And from there on, we develop a 3-year new product development pipeline. And the first step will then be in this laboratory. Our raw materials have been selected here, and this is going to be for an emulsion cream that we are going to make up today. We have our active ingredients, which Tebogo is going to weigh out for us. Just as an example, this active here is based on the probiotic technology. In other words, the skin microbiome technology that we're going to implement in this emulsion. So the formulation has been finalized, and Tebogo is now weighing out the accurate amount to go into this formulation on the scale. Tebogo has now started the mixing of the ingredients on the hot plate. She's going to heat this up to approximately 75 degrees. The yellow product is the water phase with thickness. And on her right-hand side, we've got the oil phase that's also going to be heated at the same time to make up our final water and oil emulsion or cream. Once the products are heated, we move on to the homogenizer to make up the emulsion, where Tebogo adds the oil phase to the water phase to get a nice and even, smooth emulsion. We're now moving to the cooling phase where the product is being mixed to a temperature of about 40 degrees Celsius. Here we have the final mixed emulsion with preservatives and active ingredients included. The pH reading has to be done here, which is what Tebogo is doing. The next step is to measure the viscosity of the product with the viscometer. It needs to be determined that the viscosity or thickness of the product is going to be suitable for the pre-selected packaging, for example, a pump, a tube, or in a jar. When the formulation is signed off, we do the trials in-house in our in-house salon, combining the product with treatments to determine product efficacy. Once we are successful in that and we've built our case studies, the products will go on to stability, which is placement in these incubators or ovens. Products are placed in here for a period of 3 months to determine if it will have a long shelf life. Once the product is past stability, we send it for preservative challenge testing. Once that is passed, we are ready to pass on the formulation for manufacturing. That actually concludes our development process. And once we've done that, we now need to go on regulatory compliance and complete a number of dossiers for all the product for registrations in the various countries where we do export to. So Tebogo and I are very pleased that we were able to share this information with you today. We hope it was informative and at least gives you a bit of an overview of what happens at the start of a product development process. So what we've done here was all very fast in a couple of minutes, but in reality, the average product development time is a minimum of 18 months for one product. So I hope that gives you quite a bit of insight, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that that's quite a nice video to see, especially, you know, what is going on behind the scenes. We often forget that there's a lot going on. And we always say this every week. We think things are going to get a little bit easier, but we are so busy and it is very exciting with what's going on behind the scenes. All right, so where we heard Jackie talking a little bit about emulsions, and then she was showing you there was the water part and then the emulsion part. What actually goes into the product? So the most common thing that we have in our product is your water. About 80% of your product is water, and that is going to be what is used to help with dissolving the actives, to create that efficacy, and to have that mixture with that emulsifier. So water makes up most of the product. Then you've got your active ingredients. So that's about 15% of the product is your active ingredients. And then lastly is your emulsifiers and your preservatives that go into the end bit of that product. And you saw in the video now how Tebogo was making them separately, mixing it up together with some of those machines. Now we can start getting into the nitty-gritty. So first things first, what is our first step of any routine? It is to cleanse. So taking a closer look at the cleansing of the skin, it is important that we do morning and night. And I know it sounds silly that I'm repeating it because as therapists, we are all very aware of this. But often clients don't understand that cleansing morning and night is imperative. What I find is a lot of clients often, they don't emulsify the product enough, they don't cleanse the skin correctly, and they often moan that it's not removing their makeup correctly. But if you do a proper cleanse, double cleanse, we know that it really does work. So often we'll hear a lot about surfactants in the industry. Now, a surfactant is necessary due to the fact that it needs to get that bit of foaming up on the product. Now, as you can see, there's little things on the screen, and that's all the kinds of like our surfactants and how they cleanse and break down that dirt and grime. So an important thing with a surfactant is that we remove the sulfate part of that surfactant, and that is what makes it safer to use. So the sulfate ion is removed and it is replaced with something different. It's a sulfonated ester, and that's what makes it easier or safer. And as we know, you can see that our cleanser doesn't foam up a lot. And people coming from using soaps and stuff kind of get a little bit frustrated in the beginning because they feel like it's not cleansing their skin properly. But we know it is. We've just removed that sulfate part. We don't want to put that in because as soon as there's the sulfates, it strips the skin it strips the barrier, it messes with your microbiome, and that's when we start to see more inflammation, more sensitivity on the skin. So with Nimue, yes, we do. And I'm sure you've seen it as well when we go through your thermal detox peel. We often say that foaming agent is sulfate-free blend of surfactants to get that foaming. So it's not going to strip the skin because we've again removed that sulfate part of it. So here is why, or what we needed. We say that water is not enough to cleanse the skin. So often, even as therapists, sometimes I hear them say, I just use water. And I want to just cringe inside because we know that it is not. You need those surfactants because what they do is they help to actually break down the grime and the dirt and the makeup on the skin. We've seen it happen when we cleanse the skin, how it picks it up. Now, if I was to just use water, we wouldn't be getting much off. So it is a really important aspect. And starting with cleansing as your first step of your routine is so important with a proper cleanser. It's another thing I often find clients do is they will rather buy a cheaper cleanser or get makeup removing wipes and spend more money on their product. But already, if you're using the incorrect cleansing aspect, you are really going to be stripping that skin. By stripping it, we have an impaired barrier, compromised barrier, we have more oily skin, we have more sensitivity, and our microbiome is probably so imbalanced. So we need to make sure that we're using the right kind of surfactants without that sulfates. And as you can see below, there are different types of surfactants where we have a tail with a head that likes the water and doesn't like the water. Then you've got the positively charged ones, you've got the negatively charged ones. So there are different kinds for different products. Remember, your cleaning agents need surfactants. Your bubble bath, that foams up a lot because of the surfactants in it. So it's all about the different kinds of surfactants or sulfates with their surfactants, depending on the product. But of course, with cleansing, we want an effective one. So we don't want that foaming up as much as we really just want to keep that skin clean and remove that grime and dirt from the day. So looking at the types of foam, you've got two different kinds. You've either got the large bubbles or you've got your smaller air bubbles, which is more tight looking, more luxurious. And that's where we then pick up the different kinds of sulfates that we have. I remember when I went for my Brazilian blow wave and I was told I had to buy a shampoo that had no sulfates in. And it was very difficult. And of course, the sulfate-free ones are always the most expensive. But the most frustrating thing for me with the shampoo was that it didn't foam up a lot because it didn't have those sulfate factors in. So that is where it became frustrating. But I know that it is actually better for my hair. It's better for my skin that I have those products that don't strip. So when looking at a product, we have to make sure that we look at those that have surfactants that don't strip our barrier. And of course, Nimue is definitely one of those. So we've got our two different cleansers. We've got our Nimue Cleansing Gel and our Cleansing Gel Light. And both of them are soap-free and they are both not very big at foaming. You'll see the esters in there, which we'll discuss just now. We've got our AHAs. And then definitely another one is a polyhydroxy acid. So those are our two cleansers, which have always worked beautifully, have always just sold and get the results. And we know we don't have a toner. We've got our beautiful conditioner, but no toner because already just from cleansing with the right product, we really help with balancing that pH, balancing that skin, making sure that we don't cause any irritation with these cleansers. If anything, they're there for treating the skin. So first things first, making sure we start on the right step. So looking at the difference, we've got your alpha-hydroxy acids, which we know, we've discussed a little bit in the beginning today, where I said it was our core. It's what Nimue started with. It's our lactic, citric, and glycolic. So those are your fruit acids. We then have others that we have in the range, your mandelic acid, your pyruvic, all of these coming from nuts, milks, sugars, and they are hydrophilic. So they are attracted by water. And they help to break down those desmosomes, those bonds. So I always say a desmosome is like the mom of the group. She's always holding everyone together. And that just allows for that easier exfoliation, softening, and help to peel off those dead skin cells. Your PHAs, your polyhydroxy acids, are very similar to your HAs, except they're much larger in size, so they're more gentle on the skin. And not only are they going to assist with exfoliation, but at the same time, they've got antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. So they're going to assist that sensitive skin in treating that and getting that barrier back in place. So the effects, not only are the polyhydroxy acids going to assist with that sensitivity of the skin, but they are there to promote that cell turnover. They're hydrating the skin, they're rejuvenating. So they're still strengthening that barrier, they're still strengthening that dermis because we're stimulating, they're still brightening that skin and fading that pigment. So not just there to help with the barrier, but also to rejuvenate that skin. So in those ingredients, you would have seen in your cleansers, the esters. Now, you can go back to your basic education, you might remember the esters and what were they. And we have your vitamin C ester, your vitamin A, your vitamin E ester. And basically the ester is there to replace that fatty acid within the skin. And by doing that, it helps to improve on the barrier and protect the skin. So these are normally used as conditioning agents, and they are combined, or it's more of an organic acid. So we have or use it because it is a better form of that vitamin or ingredient within the product. So the first one we have, or that we will share with today, is the esters within your vitamin C and E. So most of our esters is your vitamin A, C, and E. And if you remember, it is in the core of the product, but it is encapsulated. So it's your encapsulated vitamin A, C, and E. And that is going to assist in a slow acting way, but with better benefits. So slow acting because we don't want to overstimulate the skin, but it's got that combination where it doesn't create that irritation, and it's slow release, slow acting, but longer benefits or longer lasting effects. So we don't want to interact with the skin negatively. With Nimue, it's always about skin health, not to overstimulate. We then have your vitamin C. So vitamin C in Nimue, got quite a few forms of it. So your ascorbic acid, we know it is quite a difficult one to use because it is quite unstable, but we have our phenomenal delivery system where we encapsulate it, which helps to stop it from oxidizing, stabilizes it, and helps that release of it slowly. So vitamin C, a big part of brightening of the skin, your collagen formation, and protection. Your ascorbyl palmitate, so this is your oil-soluble form of your vitamin C. So another amazing thing is we've got the oil and the water-soluble. And this is an antioxidant in the oil formulations to prevent, again, that oxidation of the product and improve on the shelf life. And then your vitamin C ester is a combination of that fatty acid actually derived from your palm oil. And that is where we get the bond from the ester. So it is non-irritating and helps not only to boost the skin, to brighten, to help with collagen, protect the skin, but it also further balances that pH of our skin. So these are all of the products that we find that contain your vitamin C ester. So quite a few of them. And obviously we don't always get to see it or read it, but it's there. So we don't see it on all of our basic education, but if you look at the list, there are all the ingredients that we find or products that we find. The next is then your vitamin E ester. So we know vitamin E, it is a stronger form. It's actually 50 times stronger than normal vitamin E. It is a more stable form, and it's better suited for what we need it for. So not only is it going to assist with repair and healing, but also, again, it helps to extend the shelf life of the product. So it is a strong antioxidant, protects against that environmental damage, anti-aging, and most importantly, it is wound healing. So it is quite an important ingredient that we have. It's a staple in the products because not only, like I said, is it there to affect the skin, but it also is there to help improve on that shelf life. And there we'll see all the ingredients or all the products that will contain that vitamin E ester. And then lastly is your vitamin A ester. So with vitamin A ester, what we use with Nimue, it's seen as our retinol palmitate. And with the retinol palmitate, it is an ingredient that might take a bit longer to work, but it has longer lasting results. So when it's used on the skin, it converts with our natural enzymes, it actually converts it into retinol eventually, which is already a powerful anti-aging ingredient, free radical scavenger. It helps with new cells, it's cell renewal. So it really does assist in the long term with improving on that skin. And it's safer to use this one. So with it, we know the rejuvenating properties, the treating signs of environmentally damaged or photo-damaged skin. It helps to increase hydration even, and it helps with breaking up and fading that pigmented cell. So the different kinds of vitamins, your antioxidants within the Nimue really do assist with that rejuvenation as well as that protection of the skin. So this is where we start to see it. It's applied to the skin, and that whole journey that the retinol will go through is it goes into the skin. It then has to go through a few different things in order to actually get converted into that retinol, and then eventually into retinoic acid, which is what we want at the end of the day, because that is the cell-to-cell communicator and creates that longevity of the cells. So we've just discussed what is your esters. We've discussed your AHAs. We've discussed your polyhydroxy acids. And I've said a few times that the importance or the most amazing thing with Nimue is all of these different ingredients that we have. But we must not forget that one of the biggest is that we have your delivery systems. So with Nimue, we know that we have to use these delivery systems in order to ensure that those ingredients are delivered into the skin correctly to where we need them to go. It's going to assist with making sure the stability of the product. It's going to assist with making sure that it increases shelf life, it's slow release, so we prevent any irritation. So this is where Nimue is really something where we get set apart because of our delivery systems. So with Nimue, we do have 10 delivery systems. As you know, our first is our pH. So pH, of course, this one, amazing, because when we lower the pH, we know that we get better penetration of your active ingredients. So on the side there, it will show you exactly which, but every product within Nimue has some form of a pH, except of course our amazing Smart Resurfacer. So it gives that maximum stimulation, penetration without causing that irritation. We are a safe brand. We are experienced. We never leave the pH low. We only use that lowering of the pH to improve on that penetration, bringing it back. Then my next one is your microencapsulated vitamin A, C, and E, or microencapsulated retinol, or microencapsulated vitamin C. Another big one for us, because what it does is it goes into the skin, it prevents oxidation of that product or ingredient, and then it increases shelf life, increases penetration in the skin, and then it's slow release. So that means that we'll have it in the skin for longer. Then the next one I think of is your liposomes. So liposomes, we know, have a very similar makeup to your cell membrane. They've got a little tiny head and a little tail, and that little head loves water. So it gets drawn into the cell by the water in the cell. Once inside the cell, the tail actually hates water. So it gets into the cell, and then the tail pushes it out of the cell because it doesn't like it. And while it's in, it delivers those active ingredients. And that's how it moves in between the cells easily, by getting pulled in, pushed out, pulled in, pushed out. And that's found in your AI range. So that is your liposomes. And with the liposomes, we then have your nanosome technology. So similar, except the nanosomes are way smaller, much smaller, so even deeper penetration. And that means that they can actually be used within our serum technology. So smaller structure, much deeper, and help with regards to extending that shelf life. You then have your cyclodextrin delivery system, and what that does is it directly deposits that active into the skin. So it looks like a little round thing with the active inside of it. What it does is it pushes, and then the actual delivery system, the cyclodextrin, what it does is it acts as like a vacuum where it then removes all the excess sebum on the surface of the skin when removed. So it gives that matte appearance. Your polymeric delivery system, I always remember when I started with Nimue in the beginning, and I saw this fruit jelly, and I thought to myself, what is going on? But this fruit jelly is the exact kind of thing we need to look at, because that's kind of how it works. So the fruit inside the jelly is like your sugar chain bonds, and inside that is then your active ingredients. So we've got the sugar chain bonds bonded together, and we have a slow release. So this delivery system is found in your SRCs, your problematic and hyperpigmented. And the reason we use it this way, or have this delivery system, is because we actually need to massage with that sponge applicator to break down those acids into the skin, or break down that delivery system. It allows for safer, even peeling, and it helps to eliminate that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Peptides. So peptides is something we also will go through just now, but peptides is there to stimulate the natural functioning within the skin. So they act as little messengers where they go in, tell the DNA what needs to be repaired, and the DNA goes ahead and does that. Your amphoteric alpha-hydroxy acids, we're all very aware of this one. So we know that when we get higher concentrations in a cream emulsion, we then have your amphoteric delivery system. So it's when, with the higher concentrations, we take those 3 alpha-hydroxy acids of Nimue, so triple concentration is your lactic, citric, and glycotic. We put them in an amino acid, making sure we put them into the skin safely, slow release, and assist with that, as well as letting them be in the skin for longer. Second last is your liquid crystal system, and one of my most favorite products is your pre and post. So what it does is it increases the oil and water emulsion in the skin, so hydrates the skin and strengthens the barrier at the same time. And lastly is the wonderful polarized water, which is then found in your AI range, as well as in your faders. Okay, and so what happens with this one? It's also in your SRC, environmentally damaged. So this helps to distribute ingredients evenly into the skin. It helps to provide additional water to the skin. It helps with deeper penetration. The only thing with this product is this is what gives your faders and your AI range the funny smell. It's in a cream emulsion, and we sometimes pick up that quite strong smell in those products. It's because of the polarized water. So if anyone ever asks what it is, it's that active ingredient. As mentioned, the next is going to be your peptides. I mean, they've been discovered 80 years ago. It is something that happens or occurs naturally within our body. So it makes it very easy to put it into skincare products, because then it assists the skin better. The skin doesn't see it as foreign, and it helps then to do what it needs to do. It is found in every cell in the body. And what it is made up of lots of different amino acids. So you will see there's lots of different kinds of peptides that we have within the range. You'll see, or you'll remember in the few slides back when we looked at it, there's so many different products within Nimue that contain peptides. So it's easier to absorb in the skin. And what it does is, like we said earlier, it's stimulating the natural functioning of the skin. It's going in, it's telling the DNA what is needed in order to repair the damage, and then the DNA in the cell goes and does that. So you've got a very short peptide, which is only 2 amino acids that are joined together, and then the longest is your polypeptide, and we're going to look a little bit more into that. So they are very useful within the skin, as we mentioned, because they're found naturally within the body. They help with their production to reduce that breakdown of your collagen and elastin. So another big one, especially as we get older, we want to use anything that's going to assist with that break or stop that breakdown. And the name of the peptide is because of the number of different amino acids within there. So you will remember from your product, your anti-aging serum, also better known as your multi-rejuvenating serum, which just changed the name. But this then has your tripeptide. So tri meaning that we've got 3 amino acids. With this, it's not only going to assist with the anti-aging aspect, but it boosts that hyaluron in the skin. It assists with collagen and elastin in the cells, and it works more of that plumping. It fills, it contours the skin and helps fight against that sagging, that loss of elasticity in the skin. So, of course, the peptide, tripeptide with your phenomenal vitamin C and ascorbic acid, this is one of our most favorite serums within Nimue. Okay, we then also have the tripeptide 9. So it's 4 amino acids. This assists within your skin refirmer. I know that we have changed that packaging, but still same product. So it's going to stimulate that collagen synthesis. And I know as we get older, those fibrils also become very disorganized. So this product is not only going to help stimulate, but it also helps to organize that, improving on that wrinkle depth, improving on the wrinkles, improving on that elasticity within the skin. So this picture I always love, especially from our microneedling education, but we remember the young skin where it's nice and tight and it's like an organized bundle. It's organized rope. There's no flares. It's just perfect tight. But as we get older, it does tend to kind of loosen. It becomes less as we age. It becomes more entangled, and that is this again where the peptide's going to come in and actually stimulate that basic collagen, organize it better to get thicker, firmer looking skin. So we forget that this collagen bundle, how much it goes into actually creating it. So we know when it first starts, it starts off with one little fibril, and then that fibril has to get your pro-collagen in order to create more and become that structure where it laces together in order to become the next bundle, in order to get into the bigger bundle. So your collagen fiber is a bundle of many microfibrils. Your microfibrils is numerous microfibrils, and then you've still got, oh, that was your macro, and then your micro. So it is a lot of little steps that we have to go. And then you've got that 3 polypeptide chain twisted together. And in order to get to that point, or to start with that polypeptide chain, is where we need that pro-collagen with your vitamin C to get that polypeptide bond together. We then have your lipopeptide, which is found within your interactive TDS. Yes, it is still known as the interactive TDS for now, but the interactive TDS, I think we always think of it as this beautiful product for desensitizing the skin, for sensitivity. It assists with regards to all kinds of irritations on the skin. But the lipopeptide also assists with other bits of skin. So you can see all the different kinds of collagen that it has, where it actually stimulates those collagens in the skin, the fibronectin, as well as the hyaluronic acid. So the interactive TDS is actually quite a potent one, quite an active, or does a lot more than what we give it credit for. Then you might remember in the AI range, over and above the omics ingredients, we also have your colloidal platinum and acetyl tetrapeptide 17. And those ingredients are amazing when it comes to elasticity, when it comes to hydration within the skin, and boosting that peptide complex within the skin. So the advantages of that synergy is the peptide selectively selects an activity in that skin. It's stable, it improves on the bioavailability, and it focuses on that high peptide concentration. Benefits of the colloidal platinum: it helps with the wrinkles, elasticity, and hydration. So it really is a powerhouse, and that colloidal platinum is then found all of the AI range. Then you might remember your cyclotetrapeptide 24, and this is found in your anti-aging leave-on mask and your anti-aging eye cream. And this helps with that plumping, it helps with that filling, it helps with that elasticity, that firmness, that breaking down or repairing the damage and preventing further. So again, we see a lot of different peptides within our range. So the benefits within the peptides within Nimue, we've got the different moisturizers or anti-aging serum, and these things have, if you can see, all the different kinds of peptides. So what they do, where they're found, and it's again all about anti-aging, reversing signs of damage, repairing. Remember, they go in and they tell the skin what needs to be repaired, and then the DNA goes and does that. So it's your collagen synthesis, your elasticity, your fibronectin, or the hyaluronic acid. It is really quite phenomenal what these peptides can do within the skin. Okay, and over and above that is then your stem cells. So now with our new sensitive range, we do talk a little bit more about that too, and how important stem cells are. But we forget that we started off very long ago with our stem cells, and it is found in some of our moisturizers. But we know that stem cells are your body's self-repair kits. So when we have a look, I remember when I was first fell pregnant, I was so stressed because everybody was talking about the stem cell technology, and they're going to take stem cells from the umbilical cord for the baby and freeze it. And that's when I really got into understanding it better. But stem cells are there to repair broken or damaged cells. And they can actually divide without that limit and help repair certain places. So they get sent to an area where they need to be fixed. And we know that we can see those stem cells within our product. So it's always looking for us to look for new ways or better ways to use those plant stem cells ethically, where we find them. And that is why we start with the plant stem cells. So found in your multi-day plus and your multi-night, we've got your argan stem cells, which we know is your dermal rejuvenation. So argan stem cells, they are to repair that damage along with the glycine soya seed extract. And again, your argan stem cells are found at your multi-night plus with your milk peptides to further help boost that collagen and nourish those fibroblasts. Then after all of that, we still need protecting. We need preservatives. We need the products to improve on their shelf life. So we don't always just want to give product and have to keep it in the fridge. We want to have those preservatives, but it's another thing where we really have to make sure that we use the correct kind of preservatives that don't cause harm or damage on the skin. So they are also added to the products in order to produce or stop those microorganisms from oxidizing that product. They act in different ways, and there's different kinds of them. So with Nimue, we know we've taken out the paraben part of those preservative systems. And then we know that also in our sensitive range, the new products, there is no preservative systems because we have certain antimicrobial ingredients that assist with preserving the product. What I find really fascinating is in the lab, to check that your preservative systems are working, they actually add bacteria to the product to see that those preservative systems actually do help to stop that product from oxidizing. So the ones that Nimue uses, as you can see in front or at the bottom, is your sorbic acid. It's effective against that gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, as well as your yeasts and molds. Your next one is antimicrobial. It has high efficacy, but this is the one that we've actually made sure we did take out of the sensitive range or not use in the sensitive range, because sometimes people say it does cause a bit of sensitivity, but in the amounts that Nimue uses it, it wouldn't cause any issues on the skin whatsoever. But just for the safety part, is that why we used a different form of preservatives or antimicrobial ingredients in the sensitive range. And then the last one is there to assist with keeping that cell membrane or improving the efficacy of the product and assisting the other two preservative systems in functioning correctly. So with all of that, I hope that I haven't flooded your brains too much. This is really just the beginning. We have so many other ingredients, but I know that our time isn't always that long. We would love to go more into detail with our sensitive range, with our pre and postbiotics, but I do feel that we have heard a lot of that lately, especially there in Australia. You have heard a lot about pre and postbiotics over the last few months. with the new range, with some of the other ranges that you have. So I thought we'd keep it a little bit, go back to basics and really just discuss some of the older technology or things that we forget about. So the esters, the peptides, the other phenomenal ingredients that Nimue has that we sometimes forget is there because we're so hyped up on the new technology. So I want to end this with just love your Nimue skin. We can always do another follow-up on even more ingredients, other things that you might want to look more into. More than happy to do so. But I hope that you did find this very interesting. It's always enjoyable for us to just share more knowledge with you. And as soon as we can add to this, or we can do something more on enzymes. So there's a lot for us to look forward to. There's a lot going on. There's a lot coming this year for all of us to be excited about. So really, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you can take something from it, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure. I wish I was actually there with you in Australia at the moment to visit, but happy that we can still do this online. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for your time.